about that the first years of marriage are
That's
actually
right.
hard for both the man and the woman. And marriage is not something easy. It's a very important decision, and you have to be like taking full responsibilities and being mentally ready to do it before you actually go and do it.
That's right, and you have to understand that there are going to be challenges and that you
True.
should be mature for this. And I think the problem is that, especially with the newer generation, maybe the maturity level is not there where they're making a
And taking
commitment,
responsibility as
It is taking responsibility, and I think people really don't really think about the details of this responsibility. They just assume, we'll work it out, and if it doesn't work, we'll get divorced. It's so interesting how people automatically.
How this word started to be a very
It's
easy
so
thing to do.
easy, and the idea is that, and it shouldn't be, especially like if you're thinking that route from the beginning. Why have kids, right? Because when you have kids, then you have a lot more responsibility, and then there's a lot more stress on the couple itself. So
Yeah.
what the other pressure that happens is that people, when couple get married, they should at least give themselves the first year or 2 years, if they can, not to have kids, because just getting adjusted to each other is a challenge. Nevertheless, to be adjusted to lack of sleep, having an infant that's going to be your responsibility, you're becoming, they're your dependent. So and you can't really depend on family to raise your child. So you become, that child becomes like your only priority, that you forget each other in their relationship, and you don't have enough time with each other, and you're not going to be having any intimacy time or nothing together. So the idea is that people need to really give themselves some time, especially young people. Like, what's the hurry of having kids right away? And you should wait and get to know each other, adjust to this new routine that you're going to establish with each other, and then that way, my biggest advice, I think, and what I say to the individuals I work with, is that one of the things I also see people make mistake is that they let family interfere right away. So here it is. First of all, I always say to them, like, it's normal. It's normal that you're not going to get enough sleep, or it's normal that this person is a morning person and you're a night person. Sleep pattern also makes a difference. Like, if you're married to someone that just stays late at night, and you're a morning person, of course that's going to affect the way to the way you're going to interact, because at 10 o'clock you're already sleeping. This person is not going to sleep until 3 or 4 in the morning. They don't wake up early in the morning. You're already up and you've done half of your activities by the time 2 o'clock comes. So their pattern makes a difference. It doesn't mean that you should only marry people that are like morning people or night people, but what it means is that the other person who's staying up late should adjust and sleep a little earlier, and the person who's sleeping at 10 maybe move up to 12 o'clock, for example. So, even sleeping pattern makes a difference. The other thing is that knowing that one of the other thing I notice is that money. The idea is that people don't talk about money, like who's spending what, who's going to pay for what, how are we going to do this. If people get married and they got a certain lifestyle, especially I unfortunately I see girls doing it more. So they have, even if she's like has her own job and her own money, and she's used to like spending it all, and then she gets married and expect that she'll spend it all on herself, and he has to spend most of it, which is okay. The idea is that this has to be an understanding that if you have a goal, for example, you want to buy a house one day, or you want to be able to travel more together, of course you have to talk about it. And I think people get really, awkward in speaking, especially young couple. Like, it's awkward for me to ask him to give me money, or it's awkward for me to see how much money she's making or how much money he's making. And these are conversations, if it's already you're feeling awkward, and this is my husband, like I'm supposed to be able to say these things, what's expected from me. The other thing is that they get married, and like I said earlier, it's like people don't want to give up their routine. There have to be a me time, there has to be a family time, there has to be my friend time, and I think people do not really realize it. So he wants to go to the Diwaniya and the soccer that he plays, and she wants to just hang out with her friends and go see mom. Like, if you're going to be with your mom and family that long, why get married? Might as well just stay there. But so people really need to understand that there has to be some changes. If I make a commitment, this is the person I want to be with, then I must, want to stick to that commitment. And the other thing I notice is people, you should not let your problems go out to your family. Definitely not. because your family, no matter what, they're your family. So you have, let's say you have problems at the beginning. What happens which is, of course, it is so normal, and people really need to understand it is normal. It's normal that you're going to be upset at each other. It's normal you're going to fight for a little bit, and it's normal that, he is sleeping the wrong way, or he's snoring and she's not cleaning the house enough, or whatever. These are things that are very, very normal that people need to normalize it instead of making it look like it's a chaos and it's a tragedy. And then she goes and tells her mom, and he goes and tells his family. And what happened is that no matter what, they're your family. They're going to start having an issue or a negative idea about your spouse. And you don't want that, because as soon as family get involved, I think the problem becomes bigger. So what people, really young couple, need to do is to contain the problem as much as they can, unless, of course, it's violence or something something traumatic like that. Of course, I wouldn't accept that. But if it's like, he's not doing this for me, mom, or he's not buying me, or he is yelled at me a little bit, or he's not giving me enough money.
Really
these are very normal things, of course.
Very small things, and that's why when family therapy comes in hand, because family therapy is not only for the husband and wife, and it could be also for the children as well, because when you add members to your family members, other problems or obstacles arise in your way as well. So you have to understand how you can handle this and deal with it.
And I think people adjust better if I realize it's normal, right? And like I said, they're married for a year, and then now they have a child. So they haven't even adjusted to each other. They haven't learned how to communicate. Now we have a little infant who's not going to let you sleep. And sleep is really an issue. If you don't have enough sleep, you get more agitated, you're frustrated, you're angry. The wife always feels like she has to give up her career, her time. She has to take care of the family more, and he's continuing to do his own thing. So she's resentful at him, even though he said, let's have family. And
so the cycle just it keeps on growing bigger and bigger.
And I really I'd rather people come to counseling actually and talk about it than to bring in the in-laws, because like I said, the in-laws, that her dad is going to take of course, and he's going to take a negative action toward him, and then this is a person who's going to be in her life for a long time, hopefully. So he's going to be embarrassed. Then there are going to be family issues, actually.
True.
And so you don't want to change the picture of your families from your spouses. Like let the family think that the spouse is good, because once they start realizing you're not good, then the relationship is never going to be the same.
You don't want also, I think, you don't want. I mean, that's in general relationship, even with friendship. Yeah, when a problem happens between two people, you just want to contain it with these two people. You just don't want the drama to grow bigger, because people will start to react and they start to talk.
Right.
And people might be biased and take sides.
And like anything, right? And because other
bigger.
People's opinion gets involved, she comes back and she says, my mom said this, and he goes and he says, my mom, I spoke to my dad, and everyone has their own opinion, which a problem that could have been normalized, now it becomes a big deal.
True. And that's why counseling is very important in family therapy.
And it's easier because we're objective, right? Important. We don't know the person. We don't take sides. I don't know either one. So I'm not going to take sides, and I'm not going to say I'm going to be on her side or his side. But when you go to your family, of course, it's only natural they're going to take your side over the other person's side, even if they love the daughter-in-law.
Exactly.
And even if they love the son-in-law, it's still, we need to be we need to be committed to our family members, right?
True, 100% true. Now we're going to take a quick break with the music, and we'll go on a commercial break, and we'll be back in a few minutes. And of course, you can always follow Dr. Juliet on her Instagram accounts, dr.jdinka. And of course, we're going to move on with the Billboard. At number 7, you get Ed Sheeran with Perfect. And number 6, you got Look Alike by Black Boy featuring JB and Drake. You got number 5, The Middle by Zed featuring Mary Morris. Enjoy these tunes. We will be back in a few minutes.
Celebrate this season with new lower prices from Marks & Spencer. Now the style